What's up guys, this is Emeric from Emeric's Timelapse. I'm back from Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I shot the balloon fiesta. It was pretty amazing, but something happened. I have dust spots on my time lapses, and it's pretty annoying because, you know, when there's air balloons passing in front of it, well, the dust spot removal from Lightroom is not enough. So I'm gonna show you how I actually remove them using After Effects. Let's go. Alright guys, this is After Effects CC 2017 and today we're gonna remove some dust spots. Yeah, dust spots in photography, it's probably the most hated thing. I mean, yeah, that's something everyone hates, especially in time-lapse photography, because it's easy to remove a dust spot on one frame, on one picture. But just do it with a time-lapse where there's things passing in front of it. Yeah, this is a little bit harder. So yeah, it's pretty easy to remove a dust spot like this one when there's a blue sky or just a few clouds. But today it looks like there's a perfect blue sky, but it's not just that. There's actually tons of air balloon flying right, passing by it or flying in front of it. So we're gonna have some frame by frame work to do, not for the entire clip though, but for a lot of them, for a lot of frames. Most of the time on Lightroom you can use, you see you have the dust spot removal tool that you can use, so you just click on the dust spot and actually select an area of your sky or your picture that actually looks like the area around your dust spot. It's a pretty easy way to do it. Why do I have a dust spot right here? Well, you know what, I clean my sensor a lot, just like by blowing air on it, or just I have some special cotton swabs I use once in a while to clean the sensor, but this is probably on the sensor or maybe on the lens, you can't tell. This specific dust spot right here, you can see, well, this one actually appeared 10 minutes before that when I was shooting a time lapse. So it wasn't here at the beginning of the day, but it just appeared in the middle of my time lapse. It was not this one, but a time lapse before that. So nothing you can do. That's the problem when you're shooting time lapse. You know, you have your sensor is exposed to the air a lot of times during the day in a few minutes. So that's things that happen, and there's not much you can do. For the first few seconds, you can see there is no air balloons flying in front of it. This one is like pretty damn close, a few pixels close, and there's one flying right by it. It's like a few pixels. This one here, you can see, yeah, it's still blue sky, still on the blue sky, so it's pretty good. But there is one a few seconds later here. This one is the first one to actually passing right above it, right over it. So you can see you have 1, 2, 3, 3 frames that actually needs to be modified to make this dust spot disappear. So what we're gonna start by doing is the first few seconds here, it's like almost 5 seconds of video. We're gonna select the blue sky area because it's easy, there is no thing passing in front of it. So I'm gonna select my clip, I'm gonna click on, I'm gonna Command D to duplicate my layer, and then I'm gonna remove all the clips after that I don't need. So my sequence here, my clip here, all the way from 0 seconds to 4:22 is gonna be I'm going to remove the dust spot from here, and then after that we're going to have to do some frame by frame. Like on Lightroom, we're going to pretty much do the same thing, but we're going to do it manually. So remember, there's at 2 points in my time lapse, there is one here passing pretty close, so I'm not going to select an area at the top of the spot, and then a few frames later there's this one passing right under it. So what I'm going to do is select an area that is probably on the left right here. So it's going to maximize the number of frames I can use without actually creating keyframe on the mask. I'm going to then select my mask pen tool, and I'm going to create a mask that is approximately the same size as my dust spot here. It's pretty good. Then I select the V, which is the selection tool. I'm going to click once on the mask and then a second time to move it right above my dust spot. Alright, so you can see here my mask, the mask is a little too small, so I'm gonna make it a tiny bit bigger to cover the entire dust spot. Alright. I don't want to go too, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to mask anyway when the one is, it's pretty good here. You can even see the mask, but because I want it to be perfect, I'm just gonna click here on the arrow, mask number 1, and on the mask feather, I'm just gonna put like 5 or 10%. Actually, you probably don't see it, but actually still see the mask. I got 10% should be good. Now 10% is actually too much. You can actually see the mask a little bit, the dust spot coming back. So don't do too much. It's pretty good. Let's see if 2% will do something. All right, let's go back to 4%. It should be good. Okay, we don't have any problem with this one, but we have a problem with this one here. It is a problem, but we're gonna resolve it pretty easily. So I'm gonna zoom in, I'm gonna click, I'm gonna go back like a couple frames before, and I'm gonna click on mask path here, all right? Then I'm gonna do one more frame, and I'm actually gonna start, no, I need to select the 2-pen tool. You select, you have to select your mask, all right? And then you select one point, and I'm gonna start creating keyframe with the mask path. Next frame. Okay, the next frame, we want the mask to be like right above it. We don't want it to touch the balloon. All right, next frame. And see, you can see it already fixed the problem we had before. The problem we had before was that a part of the balloon was showing up here, which wasn't looking pretty good. We can still see a little bit, like very tiny. So what I'm gonna do is like select the mask pen, and then I'm gonna push it back up a little bit so it's gonna be perfect. It looks pretty good to me. Here at the top, I can still see a little dark area. So I'm gonna move. You can create points if you need to. If you have to remove the mask feather for like a couple frames, you can do it as well. So let's do it. What we're gonna do is like, we're gonna come back to maybe this frame here. We're gonna click on mask feather. So this one, 4 pixels is good. And this one we want 0 pixels. So we're gonna select 0. The next one gonna be 0 as well. And the next one, we want to come back to something like 4 pixels. So here we can see we have 0. Here we have to select 0 as well, or it's gonna make like the gradient before the 0 and the 4. So we want the 0 gradient, 0 pixels on those two here. So that's what we have here, you can see here. So we have 4, and as soon as the balloon is closed, we have 0, 0, and 4. Right now, we have a 400%, so I'm sure it's gonna work out. We still have a teeny tiny dark area here that you can see, but it's gonna be only for one frame, and one frame on a 30 frame per second base. It's not gonna be visible, especially a tiny number of pixels like this. So this one was pretty easy because the balloon wasn't actually on the dust spot. But now we have this balloon coming, and the problem with this balloon is like passing right in front of it. So I can show you, if I keep the one I have right now, see what happened here? Yeah, here it doesn't really work. Here we have a bunch, we have a chunk of the blue sky on the balloon. The next one is like a part of the red part of the balloon on the white sky. Here it works pretty well here. But this is what we're gonna create, but frame by frame. In the end, we have a huge red part of the balloon on the blue sky, and then we go back to the perfect blue sky. So what I'm gonna start by doing is actually duplicate this one here. Then what I'm gonna do is like, I'm gonna just keep it blue, only but those 3 frames. So what I mean here is like, I duplicate this layer, which is only the mask. So here it's the same thing. You can see if I remove it, you can see the dust spots coming back. So what I'm gonna do is like gonna do like 3 frames, like let's say 4 frames here, back to the blue sky, and I'm gonna remove those 4 frames here, which means I have to work on those 4 frames, but the one after are already fixed. See, it's already blue sky. So it's perfect, it's pretty easy. Now I need to work on those 4 frames here. So let's see what we are going to do right here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is duplicate this layer, all right? That's the main layer, and I'm gonna keep only 1 frame up. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna keep only 1 frame for this layer. So here you can see that's 1 frame. Oh, I actually don't need that one, it's blue sky. Okay, so I just need to move 1 frame to the right. Okay, it's still blue sky, all right. This is where it's gonna be a little tricky. So what I can try to do is pretty smart. What I'm going to try to do is I'm not going to select a mask on the same frame. I'm going to select a mask on probably like the next frame. I'm going to go one frame later. So here I have to make it available. Okay. Let's see what part of so it's right here. This part here. You know what? I'm going to take one frame before. This is going to be crazy, but one frame before. I'm not going to take one frame after because see the shadow here is getting a little bigger. So, but if I take one frame before, I have full sunshine on the balloon on the area I need. So I'm going to select one frame before and then move it one frame to the right above the real frame. So you can understand what it means. Right now I'm going to create, okay, whereas I need to select the same area than on the shadow. So it's right there. So it's something here. So let's select this area here, which is the area with the dust spot. All right, so now you can see that this frame is one frame late because that's the frame before. But if I remove it, you can see that's only the mask. So now I'm gonna select it and then move it over here. Obviously the angle is completely off, but we're gonna change that right now. Let's see. It's getting pretty good, we're pretty close. All right, let's see. -10, let's try -9, my friend. Let's try -7, my friend. Has to be perfect, man. All right, it's almost perfect. It looks pretty good to me. Obviously, you can see the mask a little bit because the lighting is a little bit different. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to see if creating feather will help. All right, let's see what the mask. Hey, it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Here you can see the mask a little off. Let's move it to left down. Okay, maybe a couple more pixels. Maybe a little couple more down. All right, this is before, this is after, so you can see there's a little bump here. So what we're going to try to do is come back to something that looks original. All right, hey, it's pretty damn good to me. And so the mask I choose here came from, you remember, from one frame before. So that's the way I'm going to do it right now, and I'm going to speed up that for you guys. I duplicate the original clip. I zoom in on my area. I think the best way is actually to going to select again one more time an image before. So I'm going to move this over and then over, which means this area here is one frame before. So now I'm going to select the area with the dust spot, all right, and then click on it and move it right above it, over it. Hey, it looks pretty good to me. See, it's way easier now that there's only one shade. It's fully shadows, and then it's completely dark. I'm still gonna create a little feather because I want it to be perfect, and perfection is key. All right, 10%. All right, let's see if I go one frame before, one frame after. You can't see anything. So now I need to select an area of the blue sky that looks like it. So this one's gonna be pretty easy. I'm gonna select pretty much something like this. All right, click once and move it over. All right, let's see, it looks. The mask looks pretty big like this, but remember I'm zoomed in at 400%, so it's pretty tiny. That's what she said. No, I can do that on the tutorial. Masking, and then one more time we're gonna create like let's say 15%, 15 pixels. The thing is, if you do too many pixels on the feather, you're gonna start seeing the dust spot back a little bit. So you can't go too much. Here it looks pretty good. It's a huge improvement, that's for sure. Let's go back to 100%. We're gonna select our area here, and then let's see how it looks. Oh my god, this is perfect. Holy shit, this is perfect. All right, so it was only one dust spot for this one. Remember, I have another one here. So see, there is always a way around the dust spots. I've remember people saying that, yeah, when there's dust spot with hyperlapses and things moving, it's just not working. It's just gonna be impossible to remove. No, it's never impossible to remove dust spot. It just, you have to ask yourself if you want to take the time to do it or not, and if your clip is worth doing it or not. This clip is amazing. I love it. It's a pretty well clip. It's a pretty well cool composition. There's the almost full moon. There's very nice color, and yeah, it's worth doing it because, you know, I'm all about quality and not quantity. So I don't care if I take 10 hours, 20 hours to remove dust spot on this one, because at the end I know I'm gonna have a perfectly an amazing clip that's gonna be enjoyed by a lot of people, and because I'm selling them, I want to sell quality to my clients and not shitty clips full of dust spots. So this is it for today's video. Yeah, it takes a lot of time, but you know, quality is important, so I don't care taking hours just to remove those spots, because it's, at the end, I have a very high quality time lapse that I'm excited to share with you guys in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you don't want to miss any cool content about time lapse and hyperlapse photography, and I see you in the next video. Ciao.